It's the Fellowship of the Geek Show, a weekly podcast about comics, the comic book industry, and other geek pop culture. Music courtesy of Manny the Martyr. And now, on with the show! Hey there, everybody. It's the Fellowship of the Geeks podcast. My name is Thomas Schick, and joining me for this episode is Mike Marlowe.
Hey, gang.
Les Webster.
Hello, all.
And Liz Newman.
Hello, everybody.
How are y'all doing?
Tired.
Cold.
Stopped up. Okay, it's your turn, Les.
I'm Ducky. Thank you.
Ducky.
Here comes the early bus.
Hope everybody out there is doing okay. So, what's been going on in your corner of the galaxy?
Sorry. Oh, I'm tickled. Well, gosh, let's see. I still got my massive pile I'm reading. I finally caught up on my last round of floppies, which means that I finally got to read the final issue of the new Strangers in Paradise series, which I really liked. It was really fun. And it is, not surprisingly, a very obvious transition to Terry Moore's next series, which I believe I read somewhere today is supposed to come out in May.
Yeah, something like that.
It's called 5 Years.
Mm-hmm.
So, gotta make sure I get that on my pull list.
And it's the first Terryverse crossover.
Yep.
Everybody's going to be in it,
Yep.
which will be interesting.
Even though Kachu said she was pretty intent on not being in it, but I don't think that's going to make much difference in the long run.
So, not to bring up a sore subject, but has everybody found another comic book store?
I have.
Have you?
Yeah. I did. There's one not too far from my house.
That's cool.
So.
I'm still homeless.
Oh, I bet among the three of us we could help you find a place. I mean, I bet.
Yeah.
It's not like there aren't any comic shops around.
No, there's quite a few. Especially in my neck of the woods, but... Yeah.
It's kind of a sad feeling.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I've been, I hate to say it, I've been skimming. And, I don't know, just kind of putting everything together. And, I told you guys I've had my house upside down for probably 2 weeks now. And, I was sorting my comics, and it's like, wait a minute, I've got holes in my collection. And I know that's, like, impossible because, my guys took really good care of me. So it's like, what the hell have I done with, like, at least 50 comics? So, bedroom gets flipped upside down again. And sure enough, I found a whole bag that I hadn't even sorted or taken out. And it's like, well, here's all the holes I had. So the holes in my collection were actually in my head. But yeah, I've just been skimming, and I picked up quite a few trades. It's got some really good artwork too that, I've kind of looked through, but haven't really had a lot of time to sit down this week. So that's me.
I think you still have a lot of your 15 minutes left.
I know. Should I sing y'all a song?
Do you have to?
Right. Especially kind of plugged up right now. It'd be real nasally. I don't think y'all want to hear that.
Do you take requests?
Only for quarters.
I'll throw all the quarters you want at you on Saturday if you want, but
Well, for me, it's been quiet. I just kind of roam through the house. I've been reading some books. I'm trying to read the trades for baby teeth. Try to get into that. It's been interesting, and I hope it pans out. But I'm not making a big effort to locate anything for reading. So just kind of in that mode right now of nothing.
still kind of grieving, huh?
Yeah. I can't blame you there, though. You know.
Yeah, I haven't done a whole heck of a lot of reading. I'd actually come across a book that I've talked about before, but I sat down and read it again because it had been a while, and I'm pretty sure I've talked about it on the podcast before because a portion of it was actually made available as Free Comic Day a couple of years ago, and the book's called Moon Cop by Tom Gauld, and the story is about, I mean, he's literally a moon cop patrolling the moon as everybody who lived on the colony on the moon is actually going back to Earth. So he's not really having a lot to do. He's kind of leading a dull life. And it sounds kind of depressing, and it can be a little bit, but it could be, it was very humorous as well. I would definitely check this one out. But it was kind of nice going back and reading this again. And mainly, I've just been reading some trades that I had picked up before that I just haven't had a chance to read. In terms of floppies, I hadn't got any in a couple of weeks, so I'm a little bit behind on that. And yeah, I hadn't found a home yet, but honestly, I hadn't tried. I hadn't even attempted, but I may be rectifying that here real soon.
Yeah, you're going to need a fix anytime now.
So, got a couple of announcements. First of all, our monthly meet and gab, of course, by the time this episode drops, our one for March had already been done, but it's not too early to start promoting our April event, and that will actually be April 13th at 7 p.m. Tentatively, we're still looking at doing it at Wing City, and we'll have all the information on our website definitely by the time this episode drops. So just go to the website, www.thefellowshipofthegeeks.net, and click on the events tab, and all the information will be there. We'll also have a Facebook event set up, so if you're following us on Facebook, by all means, go over there. If you're interested or plan to attend, go ahead and hit that going tab. It'll kind of give us a head count of who all's coming. We've had a great turnout the first 2 months, and I'm sure March will be no different, and it's been a lot of fun. So I hope that y'all can make it. So yeah, please, if you're in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, come check us out. Come in, have some good food. Robbie and his crew are really friendly folks that put together some great meals, and have some great conversation and just have a fun time. The other announcement is Sunday, March 17th. Les and I will be on the Rancourt Pit, which is a live streaming podcast on DallasOnAir.com. It will also be streaming on the Facebook page of Dallas On Air or on the Rancourt Pit. If you're not familiar with this show, it is obviously a Star Wars themed show. It's hosted by our good friends Cole Houston and Eddie Medina. And if you're a long-time listener to the podcast, you know who Eddie is because he's been with us a couple of times and will be with us again in the not-too-distant future. He will be joining us for a special episode. And when I talked to him about it, he was like, yeah, I want to do that. And then I told him what we're going to talk about. He says, oh, God, yes, I want to. I do. Thank you. Yes, I want to be part of this. I'm like, okay, you're in.
Done.
Yeah, cool. It wasn't a lot of twisting the arm there. But Eddie, Cole will not be there. Unfortunately, he has prior engagement. He's emceeing a bunch of game shows for a convention that's going on that week. It's called AweCon, and if you're in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, I'm sure you've heard of it. Cole is a big part of this convention. What he told me the other day is for this year's convention, he is hosting, or he's either hosted or has created content for 45 hours worth of programming for this show, for this convention.
Dang.
Yes, they actually even gave them their own room, so they're not having to rotate between different rooms this year. They've got their own designated room for them to do all the shows. I'm like, well, that's
thoughtful
nice
of them, right?
That's very nice of them to do that. So Eddie will be joined by his wife, Colleen, and so it'll be from 10:30 Central Time to about 11:30 or noon. I'm not really sure. And I advise you to watch the prior show at 9:30. It's Eddie and Colleen's other show. It's the show that the two of them hosted. It's called Figments, and it talks about it's very much in search of type of show, and they're actually going to be talking about Lizzie Borden for this episode is coming up on March 17th.
Well, that'll be fun.
Yeah, he invited me to come on. I was like, you know what, my knowledge of Lizzie Borden is actually non-existent, so I can't really help you out there. So, but thanks for the invite. But, so, yeah, definitely, it's DallasOnAir.com. The Figment show will be at 9:30, and the Rancourt Pit will be at 10:30. And we'll have all this information in our notes, and I will definitely be promoting it on social media leading up to us. But this is something Les and I have been wanting to do, and the guys have wanted us to be on for a long, long time. And, situations, changed to where this could happen, and we're excited about it. We're excited to be a part of it. Please check that out.
That's cool.
Yep, should be a blast. Eddie and Colleen are great people, and I always have a blast hanging out with them, and I think Les feels the same way as well.
Yeah, I always enjoy talking with them because both of them have an excitement about what they do, and it's infectious.
It is. It really is. So we'll definitely be promoting both shows leading up to the 17th. Alrighty. We'll take a couple of moments to thank the fine folks at Things from Another World for sponsoring the fellowship. And while you're on our website, click on the sponsors tab and check out the deals that are going to be running, which as of this moment are still the regular deals of a daily deal and 50% off Nick and Dent Comics. But that may change by the time this episode drops, so definitely go check out the website because we'll have that updated. I try to update that as often as I get information of whatever deals are running. You can click on the links that are there, or click on the ad that's down at the bottom, and that'll take you to their website, and let them know that we sent you their way, and just knock yourself out with some great deals. Okay, a few weeks ago, we did an episode celebrating Flash Gordon, I believe was 80th anniversary. Am I 85th? I'm trying to remember right now.
Somewhere in there.
Yeah, it was,
a lot of years.
Yeah, a lot of years. And at some point during our conversation, the suggestion was made about trying to do a casting call for a movie slated for like this year.
Yeah, some smartass brought up the possibility.
Who was that? Is anybody got a claim for that?
Huh.
It was me. I was the smartass.
So, with that suggestion, we came up with a list of characters, and this episode, we're doing a casting call for said Flash Gordon 2019 film. Who would like to lead off with their casting choice?
Do you want me to go first?
You can if you like.
My first one, I went for vanity reasons only, which of course will be for Flash Gordon, because I think they went for vanity reasons only. And I put Chris Hemsworth in it. Yeah, he's Thor, but I think he could be a better Flash Gordon. Plus, I think they could kind of play down he's the football player, then he's Flash Gordon. So.
Please.
And we've seen him as a blonde. Not bad. I almost went Chris Evans, but it was like, no, that's too obvious. He kind of was Flash Gordon, right? Yeah.
Okay.
That was my first pick.
Yeah.
Who's next?
I'm not gonna lie. I kind of have a list of names here for Flash himself, because I kind of came up with a few different takes. So my idea for the movie, I'm gonna go a little too far here, of course. My plan was to set the movie in about 1948, and so basically make it kind of a period thing. And use like 1948 technology and then maybe throw a little interesting semi-futuristic looking stuff in there to go with it. Given that time frame though, I figure if Flash is going to be an athlete, it doesn't. I mean, obviously originally he was a polo player. That I'm not sure that makes sense, really. And I mean, there was football, but it wasn't the big thing that it was. I mean, in the U.S., the big sport at the time was baseball. So my plan was to make him a baseball player.
Okay.
So the kind of the flip side of this was I thought it would be interesting, given that baseball players often play for 20 years. I thought it might be interesting to make him a little older.
Okay.
So I was going to put him in like his maybe mid-late 30s instead of being the 25-year-old or whatever he was. I don't remember how old he was in the original comics, but so I kind of had a couple of options for that. I thought Chris Pine might be an interesting choice.
Okay.
not to run the whole Chris spectrum here. Teaming up with Liz. I did actually think of Hemsworth also, and I'm not gonna lie, I wrote Chris Pratt down too, but I think Chris Pine's.
I was about to say, did someone pick Pratt?
Yeah, I've thought about it. We got all the Chris's covered, I think.
He's kind of already played Flash Gordon for Marvel, right?
Right, and that's kind of why I didn't want to go with him. That's a little too close. I mean, Hemsworth is bad enough.
Right.
Pratt, it's a little too on the nose for that. So I actually think, given some of the stuff he's done in the last 10 years, I think Chris Pine would be a really good choice. Another option I came up with for that was Chadwick Boseman.
Okay. Interesting choice.
Right. The time frame might be a little weird for that, but I figured, who cares? We're making this in 2019. Who gives a shit?
Right.
My other interesting twist was to do a maybe slightly less competent Flash Gordon. And my choice there was Simon Pegg. Just because I think it would be fun. Because that guy is just geek enough to pull anything off, really, in that regard. And he could, I mean, especially if you think in terms of like Shaun of the Dead, Simon Pegg, I think you could have a whole lot of fun with that, especially if you do some slightly different twists with some of the other characters. I have an idea or two for Dale that will make it interesting, but we'll save that for later.
Okay. Okay. That's kind of interesting. Yeah.
That's cool.
Like that a lot. Okay. Les?
I want to commend my cohorts here. They've made good choices. And please get him out of the football idea.
Mm-hmm.
That was the dumbest thing I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
You rather have him as a polo player?
Yeah, I would.
Yes, yeah, I recast the 80s movie. That's why I said football.
Oh, shit.
Oh, you'll like some of my other choices.
Oh well, so much for that.
That's okay. We'll do this for real, Les, you and me.
Okay, sounds good. My choice for Gordon was Zac Efron. Somebody that is not a huge body. He is fit. He could probably do the necessary stunts, the minor stunts anyway. And he's done some both comedic and serious roles. He's not normally joined with fantasy or comedy, or not comedy, but fantasy or superheroes. But I think this would be a decent fit for him. And that's why I look toward Efron.
Yeah, I can see that too.
Sounds good to
Okay.
me.
Yep. For my choice, I forgot about us possibly looking at trying to do it as a period film, but I think looking at my list, I think it would work either that way, like Mike suggested, or do like a contemporary version, which was actually kind of my focus.
That's cool.
So, so my choice for Flash is not a name that a lot of people may remember, but they might remember some of the movies he's done. And this Garrett Hedlund. He was Flynn in Tron Legacy. He was Jeff Bridges' son. He has a look. He's not real muscular, but he's fit. So he doesn't have to be the athlete, but you can see how he can be able to do some of the stunts and stuff. I think he's a pretty good actor, and I think he could do the job pretty well.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's viable.
Mm-hmm. All right, Liz, who's your next on your list?
All right. My next one is Dale Arden,
Okay.
and I went with Lily Collins, Phil Collins' daughter,
Okay.
just because.
Just because they were playing In the Air Tonight on the radio at the time.
Right. Well, she's kind of got that whole, brunette, blue eyes, pretty girl look.
Yes, she does.
So
I'm not familiar
I
with
think that's
any
what they were going for with her,
Right. Right.
Not that she's just a pretty face. I'm sure there's more to her. So.
Cool. Nothing wrong with her being a pretty face anyway.
No.
No. Okay.
Okay, so my Dale Arden, especially given the idea that Flash is maybe a little less competent,
Mm-hmm.
Dale gets to pick up that slack. And again, this is maybe a little weird for that time period thing, for the 1948 time period. But it's
It's a nice twist.
But it's 2019, and so I think we can get away with it anyway. So in reading up on some of the stuff, I believe I spotted that in one of the more recent TV shows that they've done for Flash, in one of those Dale was actually a spy. So I kind of wanted to run with that idea. Maybe kind of in the vein of like Agent Carter, in a way.
Okay. Yeah.
And no, I didn't actually pick what's her name? I can't remember her name. I'm really bad with names today. I'm sleep deprived. But I thought a fun and interesting pick for Dale in this case would be Emma Stone. Mainly because she can pretty much do anything.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
she's got the name recognition at this point.
Right.
And it's a strong female character in this case, so it seemed like a no-brainer to me.
And the name you were trying to remember was Haley Atwell.
Yeah, that one.
And she would be a good choice.
She would actually really be a
She
good choice
would.
for Dale as well. I'd take her as a second choice any day.
Mhm.
A strong female lead, Emma Watson, wouldn't be bad either.
True. Very true.
Very cool. Les?
I was looking at Dale as, instead of being the strong woman, and I'm not saying that she's going to be the damsel in distress, but more a comedic role, and that was Anna Kendrick.
Okay.
To me, she always has that quick wit in her films, and I think that that's what would be the move that I would go for. Somebody that could take some of Efron's quips, fire them back, and yet not overpower the male lead.
I like it.
Yeah.
Yep, me too.
I like the way your version is turning out so far.
Well, that's a first.
It is not.
Wow. For my choice, yeah, I didn't go with the damsel in distress. I went with someone who could take care of herself and actually, could save Flash's ass on a couple occasions as well. And I was kind of in the same neighborhood, so I went with Olivia Wilde. I like the chemistry that they had in Tron Legacy, and I think I would do well in Flash Gordon as well.
See, I have her cast elsewhere.
Oh, okay.
Alrighty.
Teaser. Hey, that's a tease. All right.
Nice. Yeah. No, I like that. I like that idea.
Yep.
Definitely.
I could see her fit in that role too.
Yep.
Okay, Liz, who's next?
I will do Ming the yes.
Merciless.
Ming, huh?
Ming. I went with Robert Carlyle.
Ooh,
Nice.
that's an interesting choice.
Once Upon a Time. I think with the little facial expressions and stuff that he had in Once Upon a Time, I think he could really pull that one off too, look wise and acting wise too.
Yeah, that is an interesting choice. I do like that one.
Oh, you want to see? Oh, him. Oh man, here we go with names again. I believe it was The World Is Not Enough. He was one of the bad guys in a James Bond movie back in the Pierce Brosnan era. I believe it was The World Is Not Enough.
Hey.
Watch that and then tell me he can't
Yes.
be Ming the Merciless.
Yes, he's in that one. And it's been so long since I've seen that one.
Yeah, I like it.
And unfortunately, that's one of them that I can't stand. So I had.
Yeah, it's not great. Don't get me
No.
wrong.
Yeah.
We got into a bad pattern with Bond movies where the first one with a new Bond is awesome, and the rest of them tail off really bad.
Yeah.
And I believe that was the second one with Brosnan, and it was not particularly good. But Bobby Carlyle does a nice job in it.
I may be remembering wrong, but I'm thinking that may be the third one. Because I think.
You may be right. Tomorrow Never Dies may have been the second one.
Which I like that one. I
Yeah.
like that one. It's not as good as Goldeneye, but I definitely like that one. And then, yeah, it really went south after that.
Yeah, big time.
I mean, not even, no mistake about it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
Anyway,
that's a real interesting choice. I like that a lot.
Yep, agreed. Oh, that makes me next. Okay. Sorry. I might actually raise Les's ire just a little bit because I'm pretty sure he did not like the movie I'm going to reference here for this. My choice. No, it's not no. I'll get to that later. No, this one, the actor I went for with Ming the Merciless was Mark Strong. And if I'm directing this movie, this Flash Gordon movie, I'm asking Mark Strong to channel Sinestro for this.
Okay.
From the Green Lantern movie, from the Ryan Reynolds Green Lantern movie. Because there wasn't much good in that movie, but Mark Strong was good in that movie.
He was. I like that choice too. I like that choice a lot. And he's going to be in the Shazam film.
Yes. He's been in a lot of stuff. I mean, it is usually not the front and center guy, but
Nope.
he does. He's really good, and he does the Sinister thing really well.
Yes, he does.
He is a really good bad guy.
Mm.
He was really good in both of the Kingsman movies. I enjoyed him as Merlin. And I don't have a problem with your choice there. I think that's pretty spot on.
Cool.
For miming, I'm going to take this just on how the part he played in the movie Glass was held. James McAvoy had a part in Glass. The character had multiple personalities and he could switch in a moment. Blink of an eye, he would go from one to the other with mannerisms and the like. And I can see him being an extremely evil character, somewhat like he was in Glass. So that's where I would go, is with James McAvoy.
Well, and we already know he looks decent with a shaved head, so
Yep.
that'll totally work. But no, yeah, he's a really good actor too. Really good.
That's a really good choice. Yeah, I like that a lot. My choice may be a little out there. I like the actor a lot. I've seen a lot of his work, but the one that kind of stands out to me, and in terms of some of his other roles, it may be a little bit smaller part, but I think Richard Jenkins as Ming would be an interesting choice. And I'm thinking about his role in Cabin in the Woods.
Oh, yeah. That would be interesting.
Maybe have a little fun with Ming. Maybe he can have some funny lines, but he could definitely carry the intensity and the evilness and all that you need from a Ming. So it's a little out there. I grant you that.
Yeah, well, Ming's a little out there, so it's fine.
True.
I mean, and we're making the movie here, so we can kind of we can bend the characters a little bit how we need to.
Okay.
Good choice.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. All right, Liz, who's next?
All right. Next I have Prince Vultan. And once again, I based on look, but I made him a little more prettier, and I went with Jason Momoa.
Oh, God.
Still hairy and big, but, you know.
That's interesting. I like that. I can see that working. Totally.
Yes.
That's a good choice. I like that. Alrighty. Mikey?
Okay, this is the one where I may piss Les off for good. Because this is where I'm going to go back to the 1980 movie. And based on everything I've read about Prince Vultan, for all of its flaws, for as horrible as that movie was, this is the role it cast perfectly. Brian Blessed was Prince Vultan, and I don't think there's anybody else who could ever come close. So that makes this nearly impossible to cast as it is. The way I'm going to deal with it is I'm going to, well, one, double down on pissing Les off, but two, alter the character slightly. The Vultan that we all know and love is the brash and boisterous soldier who just complete badass. My plan is to make him maybe slightly less of a badass. He's loud and boisterous still, but not necessarily all that great at backing up what he's talking. And so my choice here, don't kill me, Les, is Seth Rogen. And to make it even worse, I'm going to tell him, like I told Mark Strong to channel Sinestro, I'm actually telling Seth Rogen to channel the Green Hornet. Because I want to do the loud and boisterous thing, he's got to be that entitled douchebag that Seth Rogen perfected in the Green Hornet. And that was the absolute downfall of that movie. But I think I can make it work in this movie. I think I can make him be loud and obnoxious and boisterous and got that whole braggadocio thing going on without being entirely competent. And there will be plenty around him to pick up the slack to make it work.
So when you said loud and boisterous, I thought you were going to say Jack Black. He'd kind of work there too.
Yeah, he would.
Honestly, yeah, he would. That would be a really interesting choice too.
Les would rather you said.
If I had thought of Jack Black when I was coming up with this list, I might have put him in there, but I got to stick with Seth Rogen at this point, just because it's.
I like that one though.
It's-
That's
The way you were going, I was afraid you were going to say Brian Blessed. I said, well, you know what? I don't have a problem with that.
No, this is how many?
Even-
40
even at
years
his
ago. Yeah,
I know.
I think
Even
he's,
at his age, he could do it.
I'm just afraid he's a little too old to pull this off. Unfortunately, you don't want him to have to walk around with the wing rig on
Oh, that's true.
at his age, and so I couldn't do it. I can't. I mean,
You
I
know-
can't think of anybody better for that role, but I couldn't do it.
Well, you can always CGI the wings on.
That's what I was about to say. We took off Superman's mustache. We could CGI Brian Blessed.
I mean, honestly, we could CGI the whole character in there and just have him do the voice if we really
Yeah.
needed to. But
Well, it's not like he doesn't have experience with that.
right, he's done it before. But yeah, that's where I went,
Okay.
That's pretty cool.
risking
Okay.
the wrath.
The Wrath of Les,
Mhm.
Star Trek 2.
Instead of calling it would be Mike.
Marlo!
Oh, let me.
Sure. Seth Rogen, huh?
Yeah.
Thomas,
Yes.
can I have my money back?
Wait, we get paid?
No, I'm just walking out of this movie.
Okay.
Uh,
No refunds.
No refunds.
well, I'm not sure that I did much better here. Because Brian Blessed was Bolton. No two ways about it.
hmm
But there's a young comedian that I feel could pull this off because I've seen him in the two Deadpool movies. I've seen him in She's Out of Your League. He's done comedy specials. And that's T.J. Miller. I just have a feeling he's got enough of the stupid in him to pull this off. He played, well, he was in, what was it, Christmas Office Party or Office Christmas Party? Did you see that?
No, I have not.
No.
Okay. He's pretty brash, and yet he goes pretty silly in his roles. And unfortunately, Bolton in the 1980s version was pretty silly. He was probably the one actor in that group that relied on the comedy more than anything. So I was thinking T.J. Miller might be a fit for that.
Okay.
I can see it.
Yep.
Then why did you say Seth Rogen?
See, we're not that far off in the idea here, I think, because
Yeah,
I mean,
right.
we're not gonna replace Brian Blessed. There's no way. So the character has to change, and I think we kind of went sort of in the same direction.
Oh yeah, we
So
did.
it's just I knew once I got Seth Rogen in my head on this one, I was like, oh God, Les is gonna hate me forever. But
No, I don't hate you.
I think it's the same. It's a similar concept. I think you can run it the same direction with either of these guys, and I think Jack Black was another option that would work just as well. So maybe that's our compromise or something. I don't know, but
They had a baby.
oh God, please no.
For my choice, I kind of went a different path, and I think he'd be good. He could. I'm trying to remember if I've seen him do anything comedic. I'm sure he's done a little bit, but it's always been more of the drama and action and all that. But I kind of wanted to go a different path with Voltan, so I went with Idris Elba. Definitely kind of pushed more of the warrior side of the character.
Nice. I like that. Especially you can kind of see him with the whole Heimdall thing going on.
Yeah.
For sure. Nice.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Who's next, Liz?
All right. Princess Aurora.
Okay.
That's where I went with Olivia Wilde.
Okay. Obviously, I think that's a good choice.
No, I like that. I like her for Princess Aura. I think that's a good.
Yep.
I agree. That's not who I picked, but
Okay.
because I mean, she's a princess. So she's got to do kind of the entitled petulant thing. And once I got the word petulant in my head, I couldn't think of anybody other than Mila Kunis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, she's actually, I mean, she started her career out doing that, and then turned around and proved she could actually like hold an audience. She could actually act. I think it would be an interesting juggling act for that in this role, but I think she could do it well.
I think so too.
I
almost picked her for Dell.
like that one a lot.
Same here. And she proved herself in Bad Moms. She could do a little serious, and she could do comedy right there in that one role.
Yeah.
Cool.
That was a good one.
Okay, Les?
Well, for mine, I decided on one of the loveliest women in showbiz right now, and that's Jennifer Lawrence. She just has, no pun intended, an aura about her.
You're really going to try to tell me that wasn't intended?
Yeah.
It really wasn't. It just came to me. To me, she is an accomplished actress, obviously. And the main thing I look at was her role in, what was it, Silver Linings Playbook, opposite Bradley Cooper. I thought she was really strong in that. Yet, she was also in movies where she was sultry, and she could kick ass. So I felt like Aura was not just pampered, but she was a person against her father, was upset with the way he was maintaining his hold on the kingdom. So I thought Jennifer Lawrence would be a fit for that. And she was in a couple of the X-Men movies too.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, she was.
She's a good actress.
For my choice, I went with someone. I don't know. When I started thinking about this, for some strange reason, her face popped in my mind, and I couldn't shake it. And I'm not sure why, but I went with Morena Baccarin.
Ooh.
I think she would be a really good choice.
Good choice.
Yeah, I like that.
I don't know, maybe because I had Firefly on my mind. I don't know. But I was like, she could definitely do it. She could definitely do it.
I like it.
And of course, she had the part in Deadpool too. So.
Yep. Yeah, she could definitely do the role. So. Alrighty, Liz, who's next?
All right. Try to see who I skipped over. Prince Baron?
Baron? Yep.
Baron? I wasn't for sure on this one. And Jeffrey Donovan popped up in my head. And I thought, well, I think he could do it. Maybe. He'd fit in with all the others I've casted, so.
Oh, that's a good choice. I like him a lot.
Yeah, I
I did
agree.
too. I didn't find out about him until Burn Notice.
Oh, yeah.
Loved that. And of course I found out because of Bruce Campbell. But he did something on Netflix. What was it called? First Eye?
Okay.
That was kind of weird, but it was really good too.
First time I've seen him do anything was the Blair Witch sequel, Book of Shadows, which was not a good movie, but he was good. I mean, the actors were good. And then here comes Burn Notice, and I was like, oh, okay, this is interesting. I kind of liked him. It was a good show.
It was.
And he was part of the reason why it was a good show. So I liked that choice a lot.
I was sad to see that one end. I don't know how they would have kept going, but
yeah, but at least it went out on its own terms. It wasn't, so
true.
So Mikey.
Yeah, I went with a slightly different picture in my head with Baron. I went with reading through some of the stuff. The phrase that stuck in my head was rightful king. I mean, Baron is the one who is like the rightful king of that world. I can't remember the name of the world off the top of my head. Sorry, but and for some reason, and I'm not entirely sure why rightful king led me to Russell Crowe, but it just seemed like the right choice. I mean, because he's got the physicality, he's got the presence. I mean, watch Gladiator if you don't believe it. I mean, you could almost use that character as a template for this, and I think it would sit. I think it would just work. I mean, and also he's the guy who's going to keep your Seth Rogen in check. So it all works out in the end, theoretically.
Okay.
Well, I'm glad he's going to keep Seth Rogen in check.
I think now y'all all think I'm nuts, but that's all right.
I'm going to say I don't have a name for this character. I just could not think of anybody that would step up and play that role. Because you're looking at someone quite elegant, yet knowledgeable in fighting and the like. So, sorry, I just had nobody at this time. Well, maybe Seth Rogen.
Whatever, dude.
Okay, now you just don't care.
Right.
Wow.
He's just giving up. Jeez.
Yeah.
But damn proud of it.
Yeah,
Here comes that bust, dude.
maybe we'll just get Timothy Dalton back for this one then.
There you go.
That's a possibility.
My choice, I think it could work. I like him in some of the stuff I've seen him in. He can definitely do the action. Pretty sure he can pull off kind of being the would-be king, as you mentioned, Mikey. I I went with Sebastian Stan.
Bucky.
Bucky.
I like it.
I think it would be a kind of an interesting choice. Yeah.
I like it. I think he can do the serious and brooding and still do some fighting if he needs to. And
And a little humor if you want to add some humor to him.
Sure.
Yeah.
Not necessarily Flash Gordon 80 humor, but
No, certainly not.
Because that would upset Les, but
But enough to be a reasonably deep character. Enough to bring something to the role, for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah, I like it.
Alrighty, Liz. So the last one's left is Dr. Hans Zarkov.
Well, I picked. No, sorry. I picked Steve Carell.
Really?
Okay. All right.
Yeah. To be honest, I left off him and one other one, and that was the only thing I come up with last minute, so sorry. But he totally would fit that 80 campy Flash Gordon,
Right. See, we have to remember that you're remaking the camp movie, so.
Yeah, I'm remaking the camp.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. That I can see that now. In that specific, very specific context.
Very.
Very, very specific. But he's also the kind of guy who could make that worth watching.
Yeah.
Honestly, and in that role, I can see it. I wouldn't do it, but then again, I wouldn't remake that movie either. I would be. My whole plan with this is to distance myself from that sumbitch as much as I can. So,
Make it better.
so backpedaling with my version is not even funny. Zarkov. Yeah, I really could only come up with one name for this, and once I thought of this guy, I was like, yeah, okay, I'm done. I don't have to think about this anymore, because I went with Christoph Waltz, and you want to talk about a guy who can swing either way on that. He can do the funny, and he can do the serious, and he can do everything in between. And I can't think of anybody I would rather see playing a mad scientist in anything, pretty much.
Yeah.
I like that.
I do too.
Me too.
Alrighty. Les? Did you
For
pick Seth
Zarkov,
Rogen?
I'm sorry?
Did you pick Seth Rogen?
I think this
For
is
Zarkov, there are a couple names that came to mind. And believe it or not, one was Seth Rogen. I'm not joking.
I still don't believe you, but okay.
Yeah, I don't see it all.
The one that came to mind for me, and this is, to me, makes it a buddy movie. But I picked the actor that gave us the famous line of, "I think you have my stapler," and that's Stephen Root. He's an accomplished actor. He does both comedy and drama. And to me, Zarkov is little more than a comic role. It doesn't matter if it's today, if it was in the 80s, if it's in 20 years from now. I would just say somebody like Stephen Root could pull this off.
A comic role? Really?
Who'd have thunk it?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I've kind of, well, and okay, this is probably just a big difference in the way we looked at it, but I kind of went at it from the point of view of Zarkov is the guy who means well. And I mean, he's the science guy too. Almost, in my version, he might end up being like the Q type character.
Okay.
Which, admittedly, you get some comedy out of in the Bond films, but he's the guy who's coming up with the tech, and he's the guy who's providing support, but he's also the guy who's in a position to really screw things up for the good guys, whether he's trying to or not. And so, I mean, I couldn't write that off as entirely comedic. I mean, you're doing a different movie. That's cool, but I mean, and don't get me wrong, I still think Stephen Root's a great choice because yeah, he can do both serious and funny, and he could be Q in another reality. So I think he's a great choice for this. But yeah, I don't know that I see Zarkov as all chuckles and guffaws either. I think you might lose something. You might lose an opportunity there.
Okay.
Doing it that way. That's just my take. I'm not really criticizing. I'm just throwing it out there for comparison.
Sure.
Like I said, I like
Says the man that wants Seth Rogen.
I'm telling you, it can work. Trust me. It's going to take some writing, but it can work.
Will Seth have anything to do with the writing?
No, absolutely not.
Okay.
God, no.
Now I'll accept it.
Oh God, no. If the word writing even comes out of his mouth, I'm punching him. No, not at all. It's totally written before he's ever involved in this.
Okay. For my pick, he's no stranger of being the crazy scientist, or certainly a scientist who's been thrown into crazy situations. Yeah, I mean, I kind of picked a more kind of a serious Zarkov that could still throw out one-liners like, I mean, just like most shows do, so that they can throw out one-liner here or there. But I just it's amazing. It was one of his performances that made me, in the first time ever, kind of be interested in a character that I've known essentially all my life. And the actor's name is Alfred Molina. His performance as Doc Ock in the second Spider-Man film, it's like, oh wow. But he's had some very interesting roles. He's done it all. And I think it's a nice fit for him. I think he can do it.
He's done a ton of stuff. And for me, his Doc Ock kept that movie from sucking.
Yep.
Straight up.
Yep.
That's just all there was to it.
Like I said, I'd never cared about the character until I saw that movie. I was like, oh, okay.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Otto Octavius has a personality. Yeah.
I mean, the writing had something to do with it as well, but
sure.
we've dealt with great scripts with horrible acting. So I mean, he pulled it off. Mm-hmm. So yeah.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, he had a strong part in Maverick too. I thought he played that well. I've always enjoyed Molina, and to hear him talk after seeing him as Octavius and seeing him in Maverick and finding out that he's got a strong British accent normally just blows me away. But he can adapt to any role that he's going to be playing.
Well, remember he was also in Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yes.
He was one of the guides that was helping Indy find the idol in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir.
So he had like a Spanish accent or something.
Yeah, I think it was in South America, right?
South America. So yeah.
So one of the South American countries.
Yeah. So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
People kind of forget that was the one who did the trade, the idol for the whip.
Throw me the whip.
Throw me the
Yep.
whip.
Yep. That's him.
Yep.
Alrighty. Some great choices. I think these would be some fun films.
Yeah, Hollywood, we're available.
Now, if we had the money to actually put it together and the cast together, with that, maybe not so much, but
hell, Liz was hitting us up for quarters earlier, so I don't. Clearly, she ain't got the money, but.
We would love to hear your choices. If you can come up with any kind of casting choices, we would love to hear from you. Either post it on social media or just send us an email or something like that. We would love to hear what you have, because we're always curious of what y'all think. But I love doing these casting calls. I think you guys do too, and we'll be doing a lot more of these as time goes on.
Yeah.
So definitely, y'all hit us up with your choices, or your thoughts on our casting choices. We would love to hear from you.
Yep.
And on that note, we are going to take a quick break and come back with weekly picks. And we're back. It's time for our weekly picks, and leading off is Les.
Hi there. My first choice is from IDW, Marvel Action Spider-Man number 2. I picked up Spider-Man number 1 two months ago, and thoroughly enjoyed the idea of Gwen, Miles, and Peter all existing in the same universe at the same time, and being a kid-friendly book. I enjoyed this because the writing was pretty tight. The art is not over-exaggerated for an all-ages title. So I was pretty pleased, and I'm hoping that this too will give us a little more background, plus move the story forward. So this one is definitely going to be on my list.
Cool.
Nice.
Very nice. Liz, you're next.
All right. For my first pick, it's from DC Comics. It's actually a trade. It's the DC Looney Tunes Volume 2. This is all of the stories that DC did with the Looney Tunes. I guess the title's kind of a spoiler, but
it's a good title.
Right. This will collect Catwoman and Sylvester, Catwoman and the Sylvester Tweety special, the Harley Quinn Gossamer special, the Joker and Daffy special, and the Lex Luthor and Porky Pig special. All of them were really good. I thought, of course, they had pretty covers and everything else with them when they came out. Pretty good collections. So if you didn't read them, this would be the time to pick them up. Or if you're like me and just want them all in one place, definitely a good buy on this one.
Nice.
Cool.
Yeah, I think so too. This was a good series to have, and now it's being collected, so step on it.
Hmm. I thought there were really good pairings. The Joker Daffy one was kind of strange, but it worked.
Alrighty, Mike, you're next.
Okie dokie. My first pick is an Image title, and this is Assassin Nation #1. This is a brand new series, of course, and the idea here is that the world's greatest hitman, or at least the former world's greatest hitman, has decided to go into business for himself, and so he hires the 20 best assassins in the world, but mostly for protection, but also to to put them to work. So because everybody thinks team player when they think assassin, you put 20 of these people in a room together and see what happens, I guess. I think the results of this might just be hilarious. So I think this is going to be a whole lot of fun. So check it out.
Yeah, this caught my attention as well. I definitely dig the premise.
Yep. Should be fun.
Mm-hmm. Alrighty, I am next, and for my first choice, I am going with IDW as well, and this is another Marvel action book, and this is actually featuring Black Panther. This is the first issue of a new series, and this is going to be in all ages, just like the Spider-Man book that Les was talking about earlier. The thing that kind of catches my attention about this is it's written and illustrated by Kyle Baker. So this could be a blast. I love Kyle Baker's writing. He's been all over the map. He can do funny things. He can do some serious stuff. I love his art. So this should be a really, really nice run that's going to be appropriate for everybody.
Nice.
I'm with you with that.
Alrighty, Les, you're up again.
All right. From Titan Books comes Breakneck #4. This is the last in the series. This is one of their hard case crime comics, which have been great reads so far. This one is no different. And in this one, the lead character had 2 hours to save Philadelphia, but time is running out. So the whole point of this one is the ending. So, and I'm ready for this because each chapter has revealed so much more, and it's going to be fun to see how this one is handled.
Yeah, the hard case books have been really good. I agree.
Yep,
Very cool stuff.
definitely.
Yeah.
Alrighty, Liz.
All right. For my second pick, I'm going with one from Oni Press. I forgot the name of it. Okay, it's from Oni Press, Rick and Morty. These will be presented as one-shots. There's going to be 4 different stories. They're kicking the first one off with Jerry, which, if anybody watches the series, Jerry's kind of like the Family Guy's Meg of the show. Nobody likes him. Nobody respects him. He's loser dad, loser husband, Everything's always his fault. So it should be a pretty interesting story. Finally get to see a little bit more of him. But like I said, there'll be 4 one-shots all together. And my favorite one is they're going to be bringing Unity back pretty soon. So if you like the series and still waiting for season 4, 2 years later, pick this up. It should be a good little tide over. For a couple of years, guys. That's insane.
There's an opinion hidden in there somewhere.
Somewhere. I'm not sure where, but
Yeah, between each season, there's a little bit of a wait, and it seems like every season it gets longer and longer and longer. Well, the fans kind of turned on Adult Swim, like, hey, what are you doing? And so they went ahead and they approved the series for like 7 seasons. So they're kind of like, hey, guys, not us. Talk to this guy. So I heard it is in production and it should be done soon, maybe. Soon. Yeah.
Soon.
Yeah.
Soon. Oh, I hate that word, soon.
Yeah, I don't think Hollywood soon and our soon is the same thing.
Oh no.
Yeah, soon in our world has different interpretations too. So
yes.
Soon, like this week or this month or this year,
Just soon.
Just soon. Mm-hmm. Alrighty, Mike.
Okie dokie. My second pick is a Dark Horse book, and this is called Calamity Kate. This is a number 1. And Kate is a young woman who's, she's a bit of a, I believe the common parlance is hot mess. And so she has decided that it's time to move to LA and become a monster killer.
Okay.
So yeah, if you're not hooked already, then I don't know what to do with you. You had me at monster killer. So, and this is written by Magdalene Visaggio and with art by Corin Howe. I think this is just going to be a whole lot of fun. I might be biased about the whole monster killer thing, though.
Could be.
Well, I think you're right, though.
Alrighty, and I am next. And so for my second choice, I'm going with a one-shot from Marvel Comics. This is the latest in the lines of one-shots featuring characters from the Star Wars saga. This is supposed to be going for a year, and there's like 3 phases. Age of Republic, Age of Empire, and Age of Rebellion, I believe. Or maybe Age of Resistance. Maybe Age of Resistance. But this is Age of Republic, and this one-shot is General Grievous. And this is written by Jody Houser with art by Luke Ross. And obviously it's featuring the character that was seen in Revenge of the Sith. So this could be kind of cool. He is on his task of killing Jedi with his multi lightsabers and all that. So it should be. These have been kind of interesting so far. And Grievous was a popular character for however long he was actually in the movie.
Well, he was in the Clone Wars series as
True.
well, quite a bit.
That's true.
So
that's
I think
true.
that's kind of where it got where he kind of blew up, was there. And yeah, he was very over the top character too. So
that's a good point.
A lot of fun.
Yep. And Jody's a good writer, so I'm sure this would be a pretty good book.
Yep, should be cool.
And our honorable mention this week is...
The honorable mention is Just Like Rube Goldberg from Beachline Books. This was a trade by Sarah Aronson, art by Robert Neubecker. Rube Goldberg was an artist that was phenomenal with ideas. Goldberg had a tendency to make the most simple item a huge machine to do that. Just like if you wanted to salt your potatoes, there would be a huge machine and everything fell into place, and all of a sudden it would salt your potato. It's something phenomenal. Goldberg was the son of a German immigrant that went to college to become an engineer, but he didn't like the idea of mapping sewer pipes. He wanted to follow his passion of art, so he got a job at a low level at a newspaper, did releases of cartoons, and then became an international star. This is a book that is here for the story of Goldberg and how he came to be the elaborate machine constructor, and how he won the hearts of readers everywhere. I'm looking forward to this one, and I'm certain it's going to be pretty strong as far as the validity of everything that goes on in this book. So put me down, please.
Yeah, this is going to be fun because he's one of those people that a lot of people know his name, but very few of them actually know why they know his name. So it's going to be cool to learn kind of the history behind that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Nice choice. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty. Any shout-outs this week?
I want to throw one out there a little bit. I mean, I'm
Okay.
a little ahead of the game, but not too much.
Okay.
But I don't know that we've mentioned it so far, but March 23rd is Hellboy Day.
Oh, there you go.
So what you should do, whether you're into Hellboy already or not, I mean, if you're not, go check out stuff at your local comic shop and take a look what they've got. They've got some interesting little stuff to hand out, I believe, and I'm sure most of them have plenty of comics that you can take a look at as well, and of course that'll all lead up to the movie that's coming out soon. But if you are already a fan, then, well, heck, we should go check out your local comic shop and check out all those comics and work on getting yourself ready for the movie. So, like I said, that's a Saturday, March 23rd. There's lots of local comic shops who are participating, so go check it out.
Cool.
Yep. Liz, you have one?
Do what?
Do you have one?
Do I?
Yes.
Is she supposed to? Is she forgetting something?
Yeah, I think she's forgetting something.
Am I forgetting something?
Mm-hmm. The message you sent me the other day.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was like,
Well, clearly it's very important, whatever it is.
Yeah.
No, we just want to say hello to some new listeners. Actually, I went and had lunch with them Sunday. It's one of Phil's friends, Mutt. We just want to give a shout out to him. So if you're listening, Mutt, hello. Like I said, Sunday it was kind of neat. We got to sit down and I kind of explained to him how we do what we do. And I found it interesting that a lot of people don't realize that we're not all sitting in a room together right now.
Well, a lot of podcasters do that.
Yeah.
But we're lazy, and I live kind of far away from you guys, and so it's easier not to.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
More of a
And I enjoyed,
Yeah,
my
we'll
jammies
go.
when I do this.
We'll go with that. We'll go with that excuse. Yeah.
Sure. Blame
Yeah.
me. What the hell?
So it was like I said, it was pretty cool. So wanted to say hello and thank you.
Neat.
Yes, thank you.
Hi,
Thank you.
Mutt.
Yeah.
Thank
And
you.
if you have an antique motorcycle that you're wanting to get restored and not like with cheap aftermarket parts, he's the guy you want to talk to, and he definitely, he knows his stuff. He's gotten quite a few different bikes and different magazines and stuff that he's rebuilt, and I'm talking the old bikes like the Hummers and that kind of stuff. So very smart, talented guy. Yep.
Sweet.
That's why it kind of surprised me he was interested. Like I say, he's kind of like Phil. He's more Harley Davidson, and we're more Harley Quinn.
I'm thinking
But
this
it
is
all
probably the most we've ever talked about motorcycles on this show, but
Right.
right now we're doing it. That's it. But yeah.
And how many of you Googled Hummer?
Yeah, you better be careful.
Right.
Yeah, that's not a phrase you can Google all that well, really.
Right.
Large military vehicles notwithstanding.
Yeah. These are a little bit smaller.
Make sure Safe Search is on.
Yeah. Or put motorcycle in the search with you. But honestly, they'd probably, never mind.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so actually, I guess we can thank Phil for new listeners.
There we go.
You never know.
Alrighty.
Awesome.
Awesome. Well, okay, with that, we will go on to our regular shout-outs. First off, I want to thank Pop Goes the Culture for allowing us to be in their podcast network. Some great shows that we are fortunate enough to be associated with. There'll be a link in the show notes. Definitely go check out some of them shows. As well as our fellow podcasters on Twitter, the Pottern family. I've talked about them almost from the get-go. Appreciate your support by retweeting our episodes. You should go check out some of what they have out there. The easiest way to do that is go to Twitter and do a search, hashtag Pottern Family as one word, and just scroll through, and if something catches your eye, download that episode and check it out. Thank you guys for your support. And obviously, you, dear listener, thank you for downloading and listening to today's episode. We value your support. We value your feedback. We would love to hear from you. Any comments, suggestions, complaints, questions, whatever, please contact us. Several ways you can do that. Email at thefellowshipofthegeeks.net, or you can go to the website and fill out the contact form that is on the About Us page. You can do that. Feel free to follow us on social media. We're on Facebook, The Fellowship of the Geeks, and you'll also find our events listed there, so I've already talked about that earlier. And we're obviously on Twitter, at Fellowship Geeks. Feel free to follow us from either social media platforms. You can follow our personal Twitter accounts if you so desire. Mike can be found at Mikey Geek. Liz can be found at LN_geek. And I can be found at TomTC Geek. And while you're downloading this episode or checking out some of our prior episodes, we would greatly appreciate it if you would rate and review our show. Much appreciated. Any final thoughts before we say goodnight?
Real quick, wanted to throw in the usual thanks to Manny the Martyr for the music.
Oh, yes. Yep. Manny Martyr. Forgot about that. I'm sorry, guys. I usually tout you guys, and I've missed it this week. I'm gonna blame it on my being sick from the sinus infection.
Yep, this is a NyQuil moment. That's what this is.
Yep.
Probably shouldn't take that stuff before podcasting. But anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, check out. We got a link in the show notes. Check out their music.
Definitely.
They're awesome.
Yeah.
Yep.
And to all the girls who grew up in the 90s, a big hug out to you guys, and rest in peace, Luke Perry.
Yep.
Yep.
That was a bit of a shocker.
That was.
Yep. Yeah, we were talking before recording. I mean, everybody's mentioning, obviously, Beverly Hills 90210 and then him being in the current Riverdale show, but he was in the Buffy the Vampire Slayer movie. He was Pike.
He was.
He was assisting Buffy in killing the vampires, so...
And he was in a cowboy movie, too. I forget the name of right offhand.
He's been in a lot of stuff. I mean, let's be realistic.
Yeah,
a lot of stuff.
He's had a nice, long career. Yep.
One thing that kind of melted my heart, too, about him, though, is he did a lot of work for animals, too. So...
I've read a lot of obviously something like this. You start reading a lot of stories about their personal life and how they affect people, and there's a lot of feel good stories that involve him and what he has done, what he did for people.
Yeah.
So that tells you that he was such a kind, generous person, and the fact that he's not with us now, it makes us a poorer planet.
It does.
Yep, and our condolences to his family and friends, of course.
Of course.
Yep.
Gone too soon.
Yeah. Yeah, 52 is way too young.
It is. You know, they had just announced they're redoing, I don't know if they'll continue, but they're redoing 90210, and they were going to use the original cast, so...
Yeah, I heard something about that, but he wasn't going to be able to do it because he's tied into Riverdale.
Yep.
Which, you know, kind of, since he was playing Archie's dad, that's kind of a
major role.
That's a major role that they're going to have to figure out what they're going to do there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's kind of minor in the grand scheme of things, considering someone's loved one has just
passed away.
So, but so, anything else before we say goodbye?
Just thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Appreciate you listening.
Sorry to end on such a sad note, but thank you for your support. Thank you for listening. We love you guys. We really do. And until next time, read more comics and support your local stores.
We thank you for listening to the show. Comments, suggestions, and questions can be sent to email@thefellowshipofthegeeks.net. You can follow us on Facebook at The Fellowship of the Geeks and on Twitter at Fellowship Geeks. Until next time,